private schools. The First Lady is the President, Reading Awareness Society for Development in Africa. So you see, it's not just about being a First Lady, you must also have something you are contributing to the society. And I'm glad she has been at the forefront of championing reading culture. Everybody is going to be sharing with us some of the things that the government has for us. Please pay attention. I met him at the NAPS retreat at Ibejuleki, and he shared so many things, and so many private schools did not know that some of these things the government was doing for them. He's going to be sharing some of them. So I want to start from the First Lady to tell us about her association or society, President Reading Awareness Society, and what they are doing to, to curb the menace of the dwindling reading culture in Nigeria.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to appreciate the organizers of. I hope you are hearing me, everybody. You have to respond to me, because I didn't waste my time from Ibadan. You know what it takes to get here from Ibadan. For me to fly to London is even easier. From Ibadan to this place is another thing. Good afternoon. Like you have heard, my name is Bukola Ladoja. And to the glory of God, I'm a graduate of University of Lagos. I studied psychology, and also from University of Ibadan for my master's, and Covenant University for a diploma in leadership development. Clap for me. And I want to, he said I should say a brief thing about our NGO. Our NGO starts with me, and we've been working hard. All of us, we know the problem in Nigeria, not only in Nigeria, all over the world, but it's worse off in our own nation because of some primary things that we are passing through. I mean, economically and in terms of value system. And in this part of the world, we only believe in oral culture. We talk a lot, we say a lot of things. For us to sit down to read is a problem. And we identified, my NGO identified in 2006 that the pass rate of WAEC as at that time was about 10% or 15%. The pass rate, that means 15% had 5 credits in maths and English for them to gain admission. And I'm a winner, and God told me that what is the future of this nation? If these children persist and continue like this, what is the future of Nigeria? Because the future lies in your knowledge base. And if that means it's only 15% that can become a nurse, that can become an engineer, that can become a teacher, because they are the ones that will go to the higher institution. And what will be the fate of the 85% left? That will be a major problem. And we can see what is happening in northern states now, with the banditry, Boko Haram, and all sorts. So for us to, my advice, because if I go, you Google my name, you will see few things that I've done to promote reading culture. We are the first pioneer in the whole of Africa to start a TV-based reality TV show to promote reading culture. We will still go back to it because people are clamoring that we should start again, and I will need all of your support for us to, entrench reading culture through reality TV shows. You can Google Read to Lead Africa reality TV show. I was the pioneer in the whole of Africa. We did 3 sessions, but because of the intensity of the program in terms of capital, we couldn't go further. So, and my take in this conference is this. In this your program, because I don't want to waste our time. If you allow me to talk, we won't leave here the next 2 hours. So my take is this. What interests me and what I'm actually having interest in most is the learning income, a learning outcome. The learning outcome, these are our students that you people are pushing out every time. What what value are they adding to the economy? What are they actually up to? What's the vision? And one thing that I know, most of the students you are pushing out, they are rote learners. They are rote learners in the sense that even schools encourage rote learning, because all that is paramount in some schools' program or vision is our children are having A1 parallel distinction in 9 subjects. That is not the future we are looking at. The future we are looking at is a knowledge-based future. A future that the mindset of these children will be so robust that they will be able to apply the knowledge you are giving them to make a difference, to add value to the new Nigeria we are looking at. Because if you you can even have first class in the university, come out, and still don't know what's next to do. Because of what? There is a gap, like Mr. Oji said, there's a gap in the curriculum. And that gap is in the area of mind building. You are building the intellect, you are building the brain, but what are you doing in terms of mind dynamics, the mind development? Because it is this strong and vibrant mindset that will make these children to apply the certificates and all your efforts. Let me tell you the truth, the schools are really trying, especially in the private sector, because when we see your children, you are entrenching literacy par excellence. Literacy is when a child is able to read and write, which is the United Nations a goal. But we know they are literate. But what about their visions, their outlook, the way they want? Because Nigeria is a gold mine, man. In the sense that any nation that has a lot of problems is a gold mine for anybody that can, through insight, the heights of the mind, picture the problem and bring solutions to the problem. So what are you doing about this in your schools? What are you doing about reading culture? Because when you encourage your children to read wide, not only your curriculum, not only English, math, and all the rest, reading other things that will make their minds to be so robust that before they even leave primary school, man, they are beginning to invent and innovate. They are beginning to see how to solve 1 or 2 problems that are in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause. I'll turn to Mrs. Florence. What can school owners do? These days, schools that don't engage in malpractices are few. They say students don't read, so we need to assist. They call it assists or help. But this help is leading them nowhere. True or false? True or false? What can we do as proprietors to encourage these children? These days, young people are saying school na scam, school na scam. Have you heard of it before? School na scam. They are, what do we call them? The people they take as role models are people that sing all kinds of things. How do we encourage reading culture? For us to reverse this negative trend that is saying school na scam, school na scam.
Thank you, Her Excellency. Thank you, Mr. Francis. What I'll be sharing is what has worked for me. And by virtue of this topic, I went more into research, and it's really putting me on my toes to imbibe and adapt the strategies that would improve reading culture. I would just want to share 3 with us, because the more we know, like the former speaker said earlier in the day, that knowledge is good, acquisition of it is good, but utilization is the ultimate. So we need to utilize whatever it is that we're learning or we're taking away today. First, we know that children are imitators. So we could just come up with an acronym and tag it, teachers are readers. Why did I start with the teachers? The teachers are supposed to be the role models of this teacher. Like Mr. Francis rightly said, these children are looking up to the entertainment industries. That is where their role models they are focused on. So we can't just verbally be saying it or teaching and telling them, let's look inwards. I, as the school proprietress, what type of reading challenges are we bringing into the school setting? Teachers as readers, you could read a particular book. Your entry behavior or your entry, the beginning of your lesson, you can share an extract from that book. That way, intentionally, you're driving their mind towards picking that, oh, so Mr. This or Mrs. This, oh, read this book. You don't need to say, go and read it. The second is that you could put up reading challenges. Fridays, you have assemblies. You would tag the classes and say, any class that comes up with, you could do a book presentation and give them like prizes to be won. It spurs healthy competition within the school environment. And you see these children making efforts and trying to on their own. In schools, in the school birthday celebrations, we encourage book donations. We set up school classroom libraries. So in our school, each class at the end of the term, they will come up with a list of the book donations that they've received over the term. And the class that has the highest number of books, the teacher and the children will be rewarded. With nothing, not so much, even if it's not monetary, you could just make a plaque or do something on your bulletin board and say, class this, best in book donation. I think these three, if we're able to adopt it in our schools this coming session, would improve reading culture among the children. Thank you.
Thank you. Then let's get to the ministry. Mr. Deva, you're welcome, sir. There are so many things you shared at Ibejuleki as to some of the things that the government is doing to help private schools. I want participants in this conference to have an idea, and also for them to have confidence that they have somebody within the ministry that is willing to interface with them whenever they have challenges. That should be one of the benefits of attending this conference, sir.
Gentlemen, on the part of the Lagos State government, the government is listening to the yearnings of average Lagosians. Ordinarily, in every society, people expect government to solve all problems. But the truth of the matter is that every one of us, we are part of the government. Even in the government, we have leaders and we have followers. So if the leadership is willing and the followership is unwilling, we may not have a good state. What the state government is doing are responses to research findings on what is happening in the education space in Lagos. Education in Lagos, from government point of view, is service. According to Universal Declaration of Education in 1948, education is compulsory. It is not a privilege, it's a right to every child. And it is the duty of the state to provide that for a citizenry. However, the same document says that parents have the right to choose wherever they want to educate their children. So, sending your children to school is a right, not a privilege. But sending your child to a school where they sit with golden chairs and golden tables and they eat with golden cutlery is a privilege. Sending your child to a school where they use school buses with fully air-conditioned classroom and whatever is a privilege. But schooling is compulsory and everybody should ensure that their children receive that. Having said that, the national policy on education states that basic education should be made compulsory and free. When it is free, it must be provided by the state. However, public-private partnership is allowed where we have private individuals who can organize education system, education facilities to provide quality education in line with the curriculum and policies of the state for the child. So in Lagos, we found that unlike any other state in Nigeria, possibly in Africa, Lagos has a higher number of private schools. It is not a sign of failure on the part of the government. It's just about the peculiarity of Lagos. Land is a commodity that is extremely scarce in Lagos. We have a small land mass, but we have an higher population. So, government, as at 2010, has just about 1,004 primary schools, public primary schools in Lagos. Between 2010 and 2021, that's about 11 years. Government is only able to build additional schools below 20. Now we have just about 1,016. So only 12 schools, new 12 schools have just been built between then and now. But there is a proliferation of private schools between that 2010, when we had an average of 12,000 private schools in Lagos, to about 23,000 private schools now. 23,000 that are registered. So possibly much more than that are not registered. So how then can government navigate this kind of an environment? What government needs to do first is to recognize the effort of private players in the education space of Lagos. While education is a service from government point of view, from you, school owners' point of view, education should be seen as a business. And so, government is relating with private education space from the perspective of a business owner. In a program that God gave me the grace to participate in, that was Dopemu program from 2013 November to 2018 September, we conducted a research, and the research showed a lot of problems. Why many schools in Lagos are not approved, or why many private schools have not grown beyond what they've been over 10, 15 years. Government, I don't want to tell stories, government has listed private schooling, private schools in Lagos as a beneficiary of Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. What the Employment Trust Fund does is that, like I said, people want government to solve all problems. And so, instead of government providing an enabling environment for all the players, instead of wanting to give jobs to people, maybe I may just tell you this story, I may give you this information for free. The whole entire workforce of Lagos State, we are less than 100,000, including Mr. Governor. And in private education space, we have about 438,000 people working. Teachers, publishers, trainers like you, food sellers, people selling stationery, and others. Almost 500,000. So you cannot rubbish that kind of population. All you can do, the best you can give them is to support them. So the Lagos State government has registered all schools to access this LSETF fund. The least you can afford there is 500,000, depending on the size of your school, and the biggest you can access for now is 5 million naira. And it has nothing to do with whether your school is approved or not. The only condition is that your school is registered. You have a name. You are under the radar of the state. We know where your school is, and we know you can manage the money. Secondly, during the course of this event, you call our attention to somebody from Ibadan, from Dawn Commission. Dawn Commission is development agenda for Western Nigeria. You realize that in the 50s, Nigeria was rated highly because of the activities of the government of the Southwest, of Western Nigeria. For your information, Nigeria happens to be the first country in Africa to have a television station. You can imagine the thought of leaders of then. Even before France. France never had TV before Nigeria. Nigeria had TV before France. The tallest building in Africa was found in Ibadan. Many housing estates, businesses, weather board, all that. And suddenly things turn around. and we become laggers. Then what is the problem? So the Southwest state governors, Oyo, Ogun, Ondo, Ekiti, Osun, and Lagos, the 6 of them came together and said, see, if we cannot change the whole of Nigeria, let the change start from us. Let us have a unified development system. And that's how that commission was established. And so, in education, there's something they are doing now they call Education Upgrade Program. The pilot is going on in Lagos and Ekiti State. And that's what the lady and I was discussing. We train these children, and their first project will be to couple this thing. They call that area Imaginarium. When we get to it, you can find out what it is about. Where children can think of other things. They've introduced robotics. It's all over the place. So it's not going to be for public schools alone. Like somebody said earlier, presently as we speak, there is no public school teacher in Lagos that write lesson plan for English and maths again. We use tablet, we have gone far. But if government does not emancipate the private school to digital life, we are just winking in darkness. So government is doing that, as making that available even for us. In a very short while, Dawn Commission will make what they are doing known to all private schools. They will still launch that in Lagos very shortly. And also we have a good digital school that government is willing. Government is uploading all public schools in Lagos, and private schools can equally join that. Beyond that, the approval system of schooling in Lagos has been very cumbersome. You will realize that in the distant past, government was always saying that approved schools should be 500 meters apart. That is not tenable any longer. Because it's an open market, free entry, free exit. If your school is good, if you may have, for all I care, 10 schools can be in this building. Fish will swallow fish. If your own is good, you will survive. If your school is not good, there's no need to support mediocrity. So government is rescinding that decision. 10 schools can be on the street, it does not matter. The population is increasing by the day, and the resources available cannot build public schools in every street. So we need to support private schools. So that is happening now. And part of the document you need to get your school registered, they have been modified. For instance, before, we insist on certificate of occupancy or approved building plan. And research shows that very many of you have been on this for many years. So to solve that problem, what should be my headache as a government official in charge of education is to ensure that the building you are using as a school is safe, and that every child that comes to your school in the morning returns home alive in the evening. So the agency of the government that does that is the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. We have sent an MOU with them, we have agreed with them. So instead of you looking for approved building plan and C of O for you to use your building, although very many of you are not using your personal property for school, you rent those apartments. And the owner of the property will not give you the document. If it were me, I won't give you the kind of experiences we've seen all over. So to make things easy for you to get your schools approved, all you need now is an integrity test report. If the building is safe, please, you can go on. There are so many other things the time will not permit me.
Thank you. A round of applause for the Lagos State government. I know one of the things you've heard is money. There is money available for you. Minimum 500,000, maximum 5 million. Rather than going to the banks to get loans that are very expensive to pay back.
And I'm sorry, the interest rate is only 9%. One digit, yes, 9%.
Yes.
9%.
The banks will give you as high as 20-something, depending on the bank. So the government is thinking about you. Some of you here have not heard of AFED before. I want Mr. Honorable Oji. Mr. Honorable Oji, I used to forget, is passionate about affordable education. He wants school to be qualitative and at the same time what? Affordable. Tell us a little bit about AFED and what you're doing to make sure that schools are affordable.
Thank you. Francis, thank you very much. It's once again my pleasure to share the podium with my guests here. and also pleasure to have you listen to me. Association for Formidable Educational Development is an umbrella body for low-cost private schools in Nigeria. And we've been doing this since 1999. And in fact, you heard Dr. Adebayo very clear. We were the pressure behind the reason the governor have to sign the document of that 5 billion naira we are talking about. We keep working. We keep working because I work closely with Adebayo before his appointment by the governor to where he is now. He is also passionate about children. No matter whatever we are saying, if we don't run an inclusive education, we may be wasting time. But because just one idle mind can be used to blow a bridge we have suffered to build for decades. And that is why we do not rest until every child is captured. Maybe if you go back a little to statistics, in 2013, the United Nations had rated Nigeria the country with the highest number of out-of-school children. And of course, at that time, in every 5 children that are out of school, 1 is a Nigerian. Whether we like it or not, people come juggling with figures. Some say it's 10.5, some say it's 15.5. Our Minister for Education, Adamu, in one of the forums, he had argued that it's about 13.5. Ladies and gentlemen, whether 10.5, 13.5, 15.5, these are human beings, they are not sticks. And I tell you, that's about a population of about 3 countries in West Africa here put together. And whether we like it or not, children that are between 5 and 14 that are supposed to be in school are not in school. In the next 20 years, they'll be the major player in the economic sector. So if they cannot take their grab, if they cannot get what they want, they will bomb those who are collecting what they want. So, and that is why we must all work together, and that's what AFED stands for. So, we support low-cost private schools wherever you are, and we do not just support by saying, come and be a member. We ensure there's so much. Currently, I must thank the Lagos State government. There's so much attention paid to low-cost private school. If I take my time to begin to talk about them, time will not permit me. The children who are sitting for WAEC, as we talk now, some of them had their money paid for senior WAEC and for school fee, courtesy, the arrangement and agreement signed with Lagos State government and some individuals who are passionate. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 people have spoken this morning and they say you should not take education as a business. Or even when you have to take it as a business, you should be on the mild angle. Let me share this with you quickly. That for me and for most of us in the AFED platform, school is purely humanitarian. School is purely charity. And that's why there is no AFED school where you don't have 10, 20, 50 children who are on scholarship, depending on the population. What we have done over these years, just about between January and now, we have a German company distributing tablets free to schools who are doing all of this. And so what we do is to open up opportunities to people who are members. I've just shared with you again, training by Buckingham University. And so there are many and many and many more.
Quickly, sir,
thank you very much.
A question for you. Are schools that are members of other associations permitted to also be members of AFED?
Well, it's a bit difficult because it's difficult in the sense people who are the top echelon in the society find it difficult to associate with people who are either in the middle class. So I take people who are in the other association as the top ranking group.
Extraordinary. If we want to do the extraordinary, a reading culture has to be improved in all our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the final word of Mr. Adebayo, I have someone that I want to invite. She has 2 minutes. Mrs. Joy, she's a poet, and I just want her to do this presentation. Can you come forward? You are presenting in the presence of great people, so do what you want to do. How many seconds do you want? Okay. She has a poet It's a sign of the reading culture, and I want her to showcase her skill as a poet that she has put down as a student. All right.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
It's a privilege for me to be standing in the midst of distinguished women and men. And I've worked under one of us here, and I've seen the efforts that she has put through into the academics of Nigeria and also the love for children. And I say to myself, it hasn't been an easy one, because I know the challenges she goes through, and I say this to every one of you because you deserve it. Many a times, a group of persons are called to lead destinies, goals, aims, and ambitions to their desired destination. Among them, preachers they are, educators they are, school owners. For here they are, gathered for the purpose they are called upon. What are they? Whom are you? Many see you as money exploiters, but no, wrong are they, for they have been short-sighted to see beyond that. I tell them, look at them seated here at the great aspirants of wisdom, school owners, the great builders of the future. School owners, the inestimable value and quality of being. School owners, and now hate for further love. School owners are being sought out for. They are the greatness of we, as you are the greatness of I. Out of them, these words are heard. Don't be afraid to do something too big. You're never too small, too big, too old, too young, too dumb, too naive to go after your dreams. For with them, a better future is seen. For with them, these qualities they possess. Visionaries. Visionaries, selfless love, educators, bridge builders, and many more. They are excellent listeners. Within them, the inner speech they dispose for we. Within them, the words of wisdom they form. Within them, the ways of success is built. At the sight of them, the fear of can I is disposed. At the sight of them, the fear of what if is disposed. At the sight of them, the fortune of many is attained. For with them, the young cleanse and eat for learning. School owners, the builders of ethnicity, for under your control, God has given you the power to couple and guide diversities. You are called judges, you are called disciplinarians, you are called doctors, you are called lawyers, you are called engineers, you are called pilots. For with you, many have flown into their dreams and aims. All these are what learners call themselves, because it wouldn't have been possible without you. Thanks for being an inspiration for our generation. And for this I say, a job well done to you all. Thank you very much.
A round of applause to her. This poet she wrote. You know, in our generation, people don't want to take up this kind of... It takes a lot of thinking to be able to come up with this. True or false? Let's give her a round of applause also. You want her to train your children on poetry and all kinds. She does that. We'll take the last word from the Ministry of Education in 1 minute. What do you have to say to us, finally?
Okay, finally, I want to enjoin every school owner here present to begin to think of your business differently. The time is changing. You can't afford to be oblivious of your environment. Government is not your enemy. You are part of the government. If you are not in leadership, you are in followership. God bless your efforts.
Thank you, sir. And the final word from Her Excellency before we wrap it up, after she finishes, we'll take a group photograph and then we invite somebody to do a vote of thanks. She will be traveling all the way back to Ibadan today.
I want to appreciate all of you. That's my final word. Because my own word to you is, and I've always been saying, is that you are all God sent. Because God created humanity for development, to move the world forward. And the foundation of moving the world forward, they are the school owners and the teachers. I want to commend you for your good effort. I'm a product of you. All of us seated here, that we are products of teachers and proprietors. I happen to attend the first nursery school in Nigeria, Alafia Nursery and Primary School in Ibadan, founded in 1946 by Chief Mrs. Bolariwa. If you know the history of nursery in Nigeria, and the foundation is still speaking in me, and the star is still shining in me. And I pray that every one of you, your own children also, you will not miss their destiny. Their place in destiny. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's the end for somebody. You want to ask a question? Oh la la. Okay, one or two questions.
All protocols duly observed. My name is Mrs. Bosedeko, and I'm an English teacher. I teach English. I major in English language. To Your Excellency, ma, thank you, ma. I really appreciate you and admire you, ma. And the Lord will continue to lift you high. Please, in the area of reading, ma, I don't know if there is, if you are really inculcating in your activities, certain things or certain programs that will make children themselves. Now, let me come down to the students now at the secondary level. Because they themselves, because yes, teachers, we have all the duties to make them read. But it's a big problem now. They don't want to read again, man. What are you doing to curb that problem? Thank you.
It's everybody's problem. Every 21st century parents and teachers are having this problem. But there is no problem without a solution. The solution, because we all know the foundation of the problem. It is ICT, IT, the information technology, the new world about taking, because that's part of the question mark for digital learning. Because in the process of learning through digital, you know the issue. They will go into games, they will go into every other things, which is, the thing is confusing them than blessing them. But what I did, let me use myself as an example. It's not easy, but it is not the children's problem. Neither is your problem. It is the parents' problem. Because if the parents, if they don't know, you have to do a special PTA. You can call me, or we try to organize a Lagos State parents education. This parent doesn't know that there's a global problem with ICT with the children. And this is what I did, ma. I have the same problem at home. What I did to make my children focus, I personally took it up with them. I didn't even mind the schools they were attending. What I did was to break down the ICT. In my house, up to today, because of the foundation, nobody is interested in TV again. The TV in my sitting room is just like if you visit us, so that you will see something there. Because when they were in the primary school, I discovered that even when I went to sleep with DSTV, they will still go and lower the TV. I would think they were sleeping. And they will be in the sitting room watching TV. And in the morning you will wake them up, it's a problem. They won't wake up. I didn't know them. The day I caught them, I refused to take you there, except you entrench solid and vibrant reading culture. They may not know. So we will still do another program. We will call parents, because they are my own number one people that I want to talk to. They are your problem. The students are not your problem. Thank you.
Fantastic. last question. Just go straight. We are done.
Not all readers are leaders. And I believe that there's a close relationship between...
Please ask your question. There is no time.
There's a close relationship between reading and writing. I want to ask our Excellency, what is your NGO doing to tackle and to ensure the writing culture of the African child? Like so that most of our students pay attention only to reading, they don't pay attention to writing.
Go. I think it's better that way. Let's all be on our feet. She'll give you her phone number.
My phone number. Are you with your pen already? Or let's give them 2 seconds. Please be set. My phone number is this: 0 7 0 6 4 2 7 0 2 9 1. And I want to close with this because Mr. Oji said I should talk about my books, but I deliberately not want to talk about them so that it won't look as if I came for marketing. You know, people can tag one way or the other. But I have one history book that I added leadership development to, because my target is leadership development. How these children will be able to apply the certificates they are taking in school to Nigerian system, even to apply to even themselves. So the books are from primary 1 to GSS. You know, there is a new curriculum on history now, and it's approved by the Lagos State new list of approved books. You can check us there. I mean, my number is even on, the booklet. It has the publishers. So the books are here if you want to check them. They are very good in terms of adding so much value to your children, applying the whatever you are, because it's not going to be useful only for the curriculum, but it is useful for all the curriculum for them to apply the knowledge. Thank you very much.
I think we can share the grace.